I feel zero anxiety about turning 40 versus when I was going from 29 to 30, I was in a full-blown existential crisis. I might be a little controversial in this, but I don't do skincare on flights. We were with my family in Tuscany for like a week. We were with friends in Saint-Tropez. We had a bat mitzvah in Cannes, a friend's 50th birthday party in Ibiza. But I feel like I'm just like a water girl. I was going to say yacht girl. That has not the best connotation. That's not what I mean at all. A lot of people talk about feeling really off health-wise wherever they live. I think I'm allergic to LA. That's where I associate all of my stress with, because that's where I'm working. That's where like the day-to-day and the minutia, that's where all of that is. I'll wake up and I check my phone and I'm off to the races and I'm reacting to everything that I need to do and letting all of the incoming stuff guide my thoughts and my behavior and my day and my life. We all get stuck in that, but I think that it is truly one of the most powerful things that you can do for your life. I really can control my reality. A lot of that is pausing and catching myself, just realizing that I have a lot more control than I think I have. It's one of the simplest ways to completely transform your life, and also one of the things that is met with the most resistance. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Excited to do a solo episode today, right before a major milestone in my life, which a lot of people have been asking about. And that is, I'm turning 40. So when this episode comes out, I think we're about 5 days out from my actual 40th birthday. However, I feel like I've been talking about it for so long that I actually feel like I've been 40 for, I don't know, at least like all of this year. So I feel like I've really accepted it. But I did get a lot of people who asked me how I feel about turning 40. And I've touched on this a little bit in some TikTok videos that I made and maybe even on Instagram. And I think I've referenced it in past episodes as well. But I have to say, I feel zero anxiety about turning 40 versus when I was going from 29 to 30. I was in a full-blown existential crisis. Tessa, how old are you?
I'm 31.
You're 31. Okay. So did you have that when you went from like late 20s to 30?
Yeah, like 25, I feel, to 30.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone, this is Tessa. She's my producer. Ashley had a baby. I feel like something about going from 20s to 30s, at least in my experience, is a lot more overwhelming and anxiety provoking than going from 30s to 40s. I feel like for a number of reasons, the main thing I think is that I feel very established in my life. Whereas like when I was going 29 to 30, I had been sober for 1 year. A lot of you guys know my story. I was living in sober living. I had been in like a rehab environment for a year. I had nothing. I had no car. I had no job. I had no money. I was still trying to pay all of my debts back. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know where I was going. You know, I felt kind of directionless, except for in my recovery. I knew that I was doing the right thing there. And everyone kept telling me that if I just do the next right thing, like everything will fall into place. But I felt like I had to have everything figured out. And I think that that is kind of the common thread, like going from 20s to 30s. You feel like you suddenly need to have your life together and know everything that you want to do and be married and start having kids. And like there's all this pressure. Whereas 40 just feels like, I don't know, I just don't have that perspective anymore. And I very much do still feel like I'm a work in progress. And some of those feelings that I had when I was 20s, like I feel like you never really feel like you have it all figured out, but you just care less when you're like 30s going to 40s. Also, as far as like aging goes, nobody likes the idea of aging. And obviously that's something that I've grappled with the last few years, especially after I had to stop getting Botox and all of that. And it's so different for women. We historically have been kind of discarded after like 35, and all of that is changing. And we have so many tools at our disposal. So I really feel good about it. I feel like I accomplished a lot in my 30s. I went through a lot in my 30s. When I turned 30, I think I was still single. I don't think that I had even met Chuck yet. I got married. I got divorced. I've like moved. I am building this house. I feel like I'm at a really good point in my career, although there's still so much that I want to do. So things are very much like life is in session. But all of that is to say, I feel good about it. I feel like my 40s are going to be amazing. I had quite a few questions about vacation, and I did my last solo from vacation. And I think I even said in that episode, like, I won't harp on vacation too much because I feel like people don't care a lot about other people's vacations. It's like, great, good for you. Like, congratulations. So happy for you. I did get some common themes in the questions about vacation, and a lot of them were like kind of around like wellness and habits and this concept of like, how do I spend my days on holiday versus my days at home? So I may have touched on this in the last episode as well, but it is night and day. And I was doing all of the things on vacation that would send me into an absolute tailspin if I were doing those things at home. I was going to bed at 1 a.m, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, depending what we had going on. I was waking up at 10 or 11. That was very much the lifestyle there, though. Like, I remember one morning, my boyfriend and I went to breakfast at 9:30 and there was nobody there. Conversely, you go to breakfast at 11 or 11:30 and it's like so crazy. People are just on a different clock. I was not watching what I ate at all in regards to like histamine content. Whereas in LA, I have to be so careful because my body is so much more sensitive here. I was drinking Diet Cokes like all day long. Speaking of, this is a vice that I took with me from vacation. And even when I was on vacation, I was like, this is my last Diet Coke. I was like making such a thing out of it. And then like we were on the flight home and the flight home was turned into a whole thing where I had been up for like 30 hours and I was unraveling like at the seams. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to have a Diet Coke now to like get me through and get me home, which was valid. Like I needed something to keep me going. And then I've had one every day since. So Diet Coke, sponsor me. So good. Tessa's nodding at me. It's so good. You like Diet Pepsi, right?
No, I like Diet Coke.
Oh, you like Diet Coke?
Actually, I like Coke Zero.
Coke Zero has like 2 sweeteners, whereas Diet Coke has 1, but Coke Zero has more caffeine and Diet Coke has less. I think that's the difference, right?
I think Harley discussed that a little bit. Yeah.
Usually at home, you know, I have to be very on top of my wellness practices because I think it's not so much an LA thing. I think it's that this is home. So a lot of people talk about like feeling really off health-wise when they're wherever they live, whether it's New York, LA, or any other place in between. And for a long time, I was like, I think I'm allergic to LA. I think what it is that wherever your home base is, at least for me, that's where like I associate all of my stress with, because that's where I'm working. That's where like the day-to-day and the minutia, like that's where all of that is. So you take me out of that environment and I thrive, and it doesn't really have to do with where I am. Although there is an argument, I think, for like certain places in Europe and the food quality and all of that and the quality of life. But I can go to New York City where it's like cortisol 24/7, same food that we have here in LA, and I feel great. So I think for me, it's really like the stress component. So when I'm home, I try to go to bed earlier. I try to get 8 hours. I try to wake up. I try to do some sort of meditation. I try to do some sort of movement. I have to be more cognizant about what I'm eating because with my histamine issues, it's like if my bucket is already full, then the littlest thing can tip me over the edge. Whereas when my bucket is empty, like when I'm traveling and I'm not stressed out, I can fill that bucket with like things that would normally be triggering for me. So to answer that question concisely, days on holiday versus days at home, completely different. We were in so many different places. Every day was different, but for the most part, it was like breakfast at 11:30, 11:30, either explore or spend time at the beach, spend time in the water, dinner at 9 or 10 o'clock, sometimes go out after. Like we just were on a totally different schedule. Here, every day is different. And I am going to be doing an episode with Chelsea, who's been my brand manager for many, many years, because a lot of people have been requesting to have an episode about like the business of everything that I do. So I thought it would be fun to bring her in and talk about it because she's been handling so much of the behind the scenes stuff for so many years. And it's really interesting, I think, to hear somebody's perspective who has that like business experience. Best moments from my last trip, I would have to say probably the yacht. And we did so many fun things. We were with so many different groups of friends, and we were with my family in Tuscany for like a week. We were with friends in Saint-Tropez. We had a bat mitzvah in Cannes. Like so many different things, a friend's 50th birthday party in Ibiza. But I feel like I'm just like a water girl. I was going to say yacht girl. That has not the best connotation. That's not what I mean at all. But it's like, you really can't top it. You really can't. And it's hard to do that and then like go back to doing anything else, because it's just, oh my God, it's just such an amazing way to see wherever you are and experience it. And we were around all these volcanic islands and it was just so beautiful. And we were snorkeling and jet skiing, and the islands that we were on were pretty remote, or the islands that we were anchored off of were pretty remote. And it was just so fun to like go on and explore. And the group that we were with, the friends that we were with were amazing. And so that was probably the highlight, but each part of the trip was special in and of itself. And then other than that, like Saint-Tropez is my absolute happy place. I'm going to retire in Saint-Tropez, mark my words, or buy a second home in Saint-Tropez or something, because it's my like absolute favorite place. And it's my boyfriend's favorite place too. And we love it. So I would have to say those were the best moments. Okay, skincare for flights. I might be a little controversial in this, but I don't do skincare on flights. And I actually saw Melinda Farina, the beauty broker, who I love and respect. She posted something about this as well. And she was like, we need to stop the trend of skincare on flights, because flights are like bacteria situations. And she's like, she said something, I should probably have pulled it up for this, but basically she was saying like there's so many germs and so much bacteria on flights. And so when you're like messing with your face, you're just opening it up to all of those germs and all of that bacteria. And people might push back and be like, oh, it's like filtered air, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you know, you're touching things and then you're touching your face. And for me, I've never been a flight skincare person at all. The only thing that I really make sure that I do is I carry a hydrating spritz, because you get so dry, especially on super long flights. So I always bring my Allies of Skin probiotic mist. It's like my hack for a dewy glow. And then it's also my hack for when I'm traveling to keep my skin super hydrated. And I really think that that's all you need. And I mean, I get it. Like you want to do the masks and you want to be extra about it. And if you want to do your skincare on the flight, I totally understand. I just don't think that it's like absolutely necessary, especially if you're going into the flight with clean skin. If you're wearing makeup and you're on a super long flight, then yes, take the makeup off and then maybe just do like a simple moisturizer or something like in the bathroom, and then go back and like don't touch your face. That's my philosophy. Best aesthetic procedure I've ever gotten. I get this question a lot, and I feel like it's kind of hard to answer, because I've been very open about the fact that I've done things along the way over the last 10 years, and I really don't talk about them anymore, because it's been totally weaponized and like used against me all over the internet. At the end of the day, like I'm a human, and it's not easy to like receive hateful messages about my appearance from people day in, day out. And I never set out to like be the aesthetic or like surgery or procedure girl. And it sucks, because like I'm such a girl's girl and I want to talk about that stuff and I want to do things and I want to share about it. And I know that like I do not create content with haters in mind, but with that, you know, I had to think about like, what do I want to be known for on the internet and in my career? And like, I don't want to be known for surgery and procedures. So I stopped talking about it, but people know everything that I've done, and I haven't done anything since I stopped the Botox, and things have changed, but I'm not necessarily mad about it. I will say, I think if I had to choose, and again, I feel like everything that I did over the years kind of worked in concert to just like refine my face and like lighten my face up a little bit. But I would say that the best thing that I did was a lip lift. And it's because I look back and I look at photos of myself when I had done other things. Like I had a brow lift 8 years ago. I did fat transfer and it looked good, but not until I got a lip lift was it like all in harmony. And I think that it just really can change your face in a positive way if you get it done well, and really makes it look a lot more like youthful and balanced, in my opinion, if you do have like a really long gap between your upper lip and the base of your nose. Not to give people insecurities, but I feel like that was the thing that ultimately made the biggest difference. But at the end of the day, and I'm going to beat a dead horse, none of it looks good if you're not taking care of your skin. So if you really want to talk about the most impactful thing that I've done, it's take care of my skin. I'm actually going to show you a picture if I can put it on the camera. I found this photo. I was with my hair girl and we were looking at like old hair colors that I had because I've been with her for like a decade. Because I was talking about my color analysis that I'm now obsessed with that I did on ChatGPT. And I was like, I wonder what's like my best hair tone. And we were looking for photos from when I was more ashy. And I found this picture from 5 years ago. I had had all the work done and I was not taking care of my skin. And this is before I had acne and everything, but it's just like the skin quality. Let's throw this up. Can they zoom in? I go back and I look at my face when I had all the Botox, I had all the procedures, everything. I didn't know how to treat my skin. And in these photos, it's not even like I had acne or anything like that. It was just the quality of my skin was like not good. I have better skin and thicker skin and more like luminous skin, all of the things at 40 than I had at like 30, than I had at 35. It's pretty crazy to look back on. Let that be encouraging to anybody struggling with any kind of like skin issues or anything like that, or struggling with aging. You can look better at 40 than you did at like 30. You can look better at 40 than you did at 20. There's this trend going around TikTok and it's people like comparing 30 to 20 or like 27 to 17. And I'm like, oh, I can do this. And I can do 40 to 20. And it's crazy. Like 40 really is the new 25 or 30. And I'm not just saying that because I'm turning 40. We had this conversation with another guest the other day who was turning 40 as well. You know, with lifespan and everything, like 40 is just not what it used to be. Anyway, I would say like best aesthetic procedure would be a lip lift, but the skin care of it all, like really, really, really made the biggest difference, I think, in like how I look overall. What is one thing I used to focus on with my appearance that I could care less about now? I would honestly say wrinkles. When I had to stop getting Botox, I've talked about this before. I really did not know what my face was going to look like because I had been getting it for so long. And I know that so many people are in that same cycle and they start getting it in their 20s. And that was me. Like I went to a dermatologist when I was 28 or 29 to get a skin check. And he was like, do you want to like take care of the lines in your forehead? I'd never even thought about them, but I was like, okay. And that set me off in the cycle. And any time that I saw new movement, I was like, oh, hell no. Like we need to like get that with Botox because I just thought, oh, okay, I'm supposed to be like smooth all the time. And so I really had like a fear of what was going to happen. And I've been really open about this. I'm like, yeah, I don't love like the lines around my eyes and all of that. And for a while I was kind of fixated on it. Not fixated, but like, what can I do? Like, can I do PRF? Can I do microneedling? Like, can I do this? Can I do that? And now I'm just kind of like, I just don't care. I don't really care. That's not to say that I'm not going to do things. Like I'm all about maintenance. At the end of the day, like that's a skin quality thing. You know, it's collagen and it's not the lines that I care about. It's like the quality of the skin. And if I can improve that quality of skin, then like it can have a better bounce back rate. And that's really what I care about. It's like the longevity of my skin. I don't obsess about my face in the same way that I did when I was getting aesthetic procedures, because it's like when that's off the table, I just don't think about it as much. Whereas when it's on the table, it's like, okay, what can I fix now? Like now I need to tweak that. And do I need filler here? And like, oh, I have a line here, so I'm going to get more Botox. Like it just, you get into like this different mindset, at least in my experience. So I don't know that I would say I could not care less, but like it doesn't bother me. What are my best high maintenance beauty hacks to stay low maintenance? I feel like there's a spectrum with this. I think if you're doing injectables, if you are doing Botox, like that is a good high maintenance thing to do to stay low maintenance, because it does automatically give you like a little bit of a glow. It does help your skin sometimes in some ways. Like it doesn't help acne and things like that, but it can help the appearance of your skin. If you're feeling like you do have like fine lines and wrinkles and it's kind of sallow or whatever, Botox can help that. I think things like microneedling, which I have not done, but I would like to do, or lasers, like, yeah, these are things that are like high maintenance that you can do where you can wake up and you feel better about your skin and you're not having to wear as much makeup. But I would say kind of a grade below that, and the things that I do are tinting my eyebrows. This is specific, I think, to being blonde. I don't know if other people have to do this, but my eyebrows tend to get a little bit light, my eyelashes as well. So I tint my eyebrows and my eyelashes once a month, and I don't wear mascara and I don't do anything to my brows except I use the Rare Beauty brow gel, which is like the best of the best of the best. And always put it on before your foundation. I don't know why it took me 40 years to figure this out. Do you do brows before base?
I will now.
Okay. There's this makeup artist on TikTok and Instagram, Kellyanne Makeup XKA, I think is her handle. And she's always like brows before base. And I used to have this issue with all of my brow gels where I would put them on after I did my foundation. And I would be like, oh, it's like so clumpy and it gets this like weird like cast to it because it was picking up some of that foundation. So now I do it first, brows first. And yeah, that brow gel is the best. And I feel like just having the tint, like it just makes them look more full and done. Other things that I do to be lower maintenance, I do keratin once in a while if I have a trip coming up, or just if I feel like my hair is getting a little bit unruly and like taking too long to manage. Although it's like so extremely poisonous to me that it's like hard for me to endure. And I talked about it on my Instagram before I went on my trip. I did, what was the other one called that was supposed to be less toxic? Oh, Coco Choco. Hard to forget a name like that because it sounds like a cocktail that you would get in like, I don't know, the Caribbean, like a sugary frozen coconut drink, like a pina colada, basically. It's supposed to be less toxic, which means I think it does not have formaldehyde in it, which other keratins do have. But my hair guy and I do it outside. The fumes are so strong to me. Like I literally ordered goggles on Instacart and had them delivered. I had goggles on, an N95, a scarf around my face. He was like, next time you should just order like one of those, not like hazmat, but what are those gas masks? A gas mask. And basically what they do is they like put this solution on your hair and then they have to like blow dry it in and then like straight iron it in. And it's like the fumes, and I am dying, like water pouring out of my eyes. It's choking me. My throat's burning. And meanwhile, he's totally fine. And he's like standing like 1 foot above me, like getting all the fumes up in his face. And he's like, are you okay? It's bizarre. I mean, I think that it's like my allergy and my MCAS, like my immune system just cannot handle it. But I do love the outcome. Like you do get really soft, smooth, manageable hair. So brow tinting, lash tinting, keratin. I think that those are really the only things that I do. I'm trying to think what else. I guess I don't do that many high maintenance things to stay low maintenance. I feel like there's some that I'm forgetting. I mean, it really depends on the person. Like it depends. There's so many variables, you know? So for me, like you might not have to dye your brows or your lashes and you're like, okay, I don't care. But for me, it does make a huge difference. What's my favorite beauty product that I actually finish? I feel like this is very difficult for me to answer because I don't have just one favorite product. And I feel like I have found the things that really work for me. So whether it's skincare, makeup products, I feel like I have like honed in on the things that make my skin and my face look the best. So I really do finish all of my Jan Marinis. I mean, I go through the Jan Marini system probably monthly. A lot of people ask me how long that system lasts because it is expensive for me because I'm doing morning and night. It usually lasts around a month. So yeah, it's pricey. Clarins Double Serum, my ride or die. I stopped using it for a while because I was like, well, I use all of the Jan Marini. Like my skin is really good. I don't know that I need another serum. It really does make such a huge difference in the overall glow and like dew of my skin. So I love that. That's always an empty for me. The Allies probiotic mist always gets empty for me. The Wella Miracle Hair Rescue, always an empty for me. That's like a spray that you use after you shower on wet hair. I actually found it because I worked with them last year, and it was the only product that I found that made me not hate my hair the day that I wash it. I hate how my hair looks like when I wash it and blow dry it the first day because I feel like it's poofy. And I like when it gets that like kind of bedhead second day, third day hair kind of look. But the Wella, I love. I go through it all the time, constantly. Rare Beauty Brow Gel, Sephora Sinker Suede, RIP to the GOAT. It's the best lip liner ever. And if you guys didn't see it, because I know so many people loved it as well, and other colors from that line, they discontinued it. The new ones that they made are respectfully trash. Still love you, Sephora, but I mean, the formula is not good. So I posted a video of similar ones that I'm loving now. One of those is the Bobbi Brown lip liner in pale mauve. I also love all things Westman Atelier. So I love her contour stick and I love her blushes. There's like a lot. I mean, pretty much anything that I talk about and do videos on my socials are like legitimately my favorite beauty products that I actually finish. What's the best beauty advice that I've ever gotten? I don't think it's necessarily one piece of advice, but I would always go to Jen Hollander. And I had seen a lot of people before going to her, and sometimes I would see her and then I would see other practitioners. And I mean, this is back when I was doing injectables as well, but she really focuses on the uniqueness of your own face instead of trying to like copy paste and do what other people are doing on their faces. And that is something that I really appreciate her, because I think we've seen, especially like in the last 10 years, so many trends come and go. There's like, obviously with the body stuff, like the big BBLs and the big boobs. And now everybody wants like ballerina boobs and ballerina BBLs or athletic BBLs. And with like rhinoplasties, there was like the fairy nose, you know, and like the cat eyes and the Bella eyes and all of these trends. And trends are going to come and go. And like, if you're doing that on your face or your body, like you might look dated at some point. It's so easy to fall into the trap of wanting to look like other people. And I know that so many people go in to get procedures done and they show pictures of other people. But I think at the end of the day, like the pendulum is swinging back. And I think that more than ever, people are embracing their uniqueness. And there's even this whole thing like on TikTok where people are talking about like how glad they are that they never got their nose job, and they're embracing like unique noses and unique features. And I think especially now that we are like entering the era of AI and like hyper perfection on social media and with AI, where like it's hard to discern what's real and what's not. And everybody is starting to look the same. Like I think there's going to be this appreciation for that uniqueness. So not really advice, but like I appreciate the people, Jen, Ben Talley as well, who have like told me no when I was very much stuck in a different mindset and didn't let me go down that road. So it's like cheesy, but it's like be yourself, but it's also true, you know? What is one thing someone can do to level up their life? Because I have so many things in like different categories, but this is top of mind for me because I'm like very much back in my meditation era. And I always cringe when I bring it up because I know that the majority of people like don't care and don't want to hear about meditation. And I think that people glaze over, but I really think that it is one of the most transformative things that you can do for your life, especially now when we are so distracted, we're so connected all of the time. We can go through an entire day without thinking an original thought. Everything is reacting, you know, and I get it. Like I do this sometimes too. I'll wake up and I check my phone and I'm off to the races and I'm reacting to everything that I need to do and letting all of the incoming stuff guide my thoughts and my behavior and my day and my life. And it's like, we all get stuck in that. I think that it is like truly one of the most powerful things that you can do for your life. And it doesn't matter what kind. I had Mimi Bouchard on the podcast recently. She has activations. I think that that's a great place for people to start because it's not traditional meditation where you're like sitting there, you're closing your eyes and you have to carve out the time. And I always say like the hardest part about meditation is not the meditation itself. It's the discipline to sit down and do the meditation. With her activations, you can do it when you're walking. You can do it when you're getting ready. You can do it anytime. And she has so many different things. And I like the visualizing and embodying like the version of yourself in the future that you want. And I believe in that. And I incorporate that into my own practice. A lot of people know I did TM for a long time. And I think that especially made people tune out because it's like 20 minutes twice a day in silence. And I have to go somewhere and learn it. Like, what? This is a cult. This is crazy. Like, who has the time for this? Absolutely not. So I've talked about this before, so I won't get too much into it, but I'm doing the Waking Up meditation app. It's Sam Harris. My ex-husband told me about it because I went over to see him like right before we left for vacation or a few weeks before. And he was just a little too cool and like easygoing. And I was like, what are you doing? Like something has changed. What's happening here? And he's like, oh, I'm doing this new meditation. And he's been like a seeker for decades, and he's tried all kinds of meditation. And we were both doing TM. We learned around the same time. So we had been doing it for like a similar amount of years. And even when he was doing that, I didn't notice that ease, lightness that I noticed when I saw him recently. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm buying whatever you're selling because I want that for myself. And it's so easy. I love it so much. It's mindfulness meditation. So I catch myself doing things during the day that I meditated on in the morning. It's guided. And you just become like way more aware. And at least for me, I'm realizing that like I really can control my reality. And a lot of that is like pausing and catching myself, catching my thoughts, catching my reactions, catching myself in behaviors, just realizing that I have a lot more control than I think I have. So I highly recommend that. It's like 10 minutes, sometimes 12. I do my face mask in the morning, kill two birds with one stone, 10 to 12 minutes, and I'm done. It's one of the simplest ways to completely transform your life. And also one of the things that is met with the most resistance. How good does life get when you cut out alcohol? I might surprise some of you with my answer. I am not anti-alcohol. And I know that that's kind of the trendy thing in wellness right now. And so many people are talking about how no amount of alcohol is good for you. And it's so toxic to your body and your brain and your gut and all of these things. I am like completely agnostic when it comes to alcohol. And I believe in moderation, everything in moderation, including moderation. I think it really depends on you and your relationship with alcohol. For me, like I was a hope to die alcoholic. So to answer the question, how good can life get when you cut out alcohol? I mean, it completely changed my life. Like my entire life, everything that I have is built upon that foundation of being sober and the work that I do in sobriety. So for me, it was like the most transformative thing. If you're just a casual drinker and you're thinking about cutting out alcohol, like, I don't know, I hear from some people like that they sleep better and they feel better and all of that. I think it really depends on you. And if you're feeling like you are experiencing some kind of negative consequences from drinking, then maybe it's time to examine that relationship and consider cutting it out. And, if you're not sure if you have a problem, I always tell people like stop and see if you can stop. And if you can't stop, then therein lies your answer. But if you think that you're an alcoholic, or if you feel like you are dependent on alcohol, even just in certain situations, and you feel like you might need to examine that relationship and you might need to cut it out, I sound like a broken record, but I always say that I thought that getting sober would be the worst thing that ever happened to me. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I thought that a life of sobriety meant a life of resisting the urge to drink and a life of boredom. And it's been quite the opposite. Like everything that I have in my life is a result of being sober. You can go anywhere. You can do anything sober. You can go to places where you once drank, you can do it sober. Like on my vacation, for example, people are always surprised to see me at like beach clubs and like, or out at clubs or dinner with like people that drink. And everyone's like, oh my God, your boyfriend drinks. I'm like, yeah, he has like a drink here or there. He's not a big drinker. But there's this misconception, I think, that like if you decide to give up alcohol, you're going to be white knuckling it and it's going to be running your life, trying to resist it. And that's not the case at all. Life without alcohol can be amazing. But how has it felt as a woman being able to buy and custom design my own home? It's no secret that I got a settlement from my divorce and I used some of that money to buy my house. People who push back on that, I want to be like, you would have done the same thing. And if you were with somebody for 8 years, married for 5 years, somebody of extreme wealth, that's what happens, at least in a fair situation. It's a little bit different from me being like, oh, I like bought this all on my own. But that said, oh my God, it is so expensive and it's so overwhelming buying and remodeling a house. I never would have done it if I wasn't also like in a place of professional success and making a lot of money professionally, because that would be a horrible financial decision. So I do feel proud that I'm able to do that. And I do feel overwhelmed sometimes because I'm like, where's the adult? Like, who is overseeing all of this, you know? And it goes back to like, I've kind of been thinking about this turning 40. Like, I still feel like I'm 25 max in my mind. And you hear this from people who are older. Even my ex used to say this, like, and he was quite a lot older than me. And he said, you know, it gets jarring when you still feel like you're 25 and you see your reflection in the mirror and, you know, it doesn't match like how you feel internally. That's definitely how I feel. Not that I feel like I, you know, look that much older, but I still very much feel like I'm in my 20s. Sometimes I do these like very adult things like buying a house and remodeling and things that I do in work and like professional ventures that I have right now. And sometimes I'm sitting in meetings like, what am I doing? I don't know how to do any of this. Like we really are all just figuring it out as we go. And you realize as you get older that nobody knows what they're doing. And we're all just like pretending like we know what we're doing. And we're all just kind of like adulting and feel like kids inside, I think. So that's how I felt, but it has been amazing. It's a really good feeling to have something that is like all your own. Nobody can take it away. Being able to design it like exactly to a T, exactly how I want it to be, has been a great feeling. And I love that people are excited about it. Like my community is really excited for updates and all of that. And that's a nice feeling because, you know, a lot of you guys have been listening for years and following me for years. And it's nice to have people like invested as well and happy for the success and everything. So that's much appreciated. So yeah, it's felt pretty good. So what's my favorite part of my home? I would have to say the kitchen. And it's going to be so fun to be able to do recipes again because the layout of my boyfriend's kitchen is not conducive for like filming recipes. It's just trickier. So I pretty much designed my kitchen in my house to be able to like shoot there. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about some rooms that I haven't shown you guys, but we're shooting it in October, hopefully for publications. And so we're going to like save some for later. If you could only keep one step in your routine, skincare or hair care? Skincare, like all day, every day. Guilty pleasure that's not guilty, my Diet Coke. That was so easy for me. I know that I'm going to have people who are like, how can you be wellness, like talking about wellness and be drinking Diet Coke? Listen, I'm a work in progress. I'm human. Most controversial opinion that I have about skincare. I don't know if it's controversial, but it's just like the hill that I'm going to die on, literally, is that like skincare can do so much more than we think it can. It really is the foundation of everything else. And I just had like a TikTok that I made today, actually. I probably shouldn't have made it. But I get so many people who are like, oh, please, you have like the signature Hallmark Botox, like dewiness on your face. And I'm like, thank you. You're proving my point. Who said that like Botox is the only way that you can have like smooth, glowy, dewy skin? Like, no, it's just about finding the right skincare. So that is probably the most controversial opinion that I would have because like we're always told that it's like skincare and trust me, like if I could still be getting Botox, I probably would. What's my current form of self-sabotage? Procrastination. I'm literally saving everything until the last second. Like I wait until the last second before things are due to do them. And I don't know why I'm doing that. It's not really self-sabotage because I always get it done anyway. And sometimes I just work better under pressure to begin with. So like if I have content or like a deliverable that's due like in a week, I'm not going to do it a week ahead because I work better with that pressure. But then I get stressed and then I get overwhelmed like today where I have like, and yesterday where I was like, oh my God, I have like 3 things due today and I didn't do them. And it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not good. Something I used to obsess over that I've let go of, age. Maybe I don't want to say I obsessed over it, but 35 to 38 was hard for me. It was really hard. I think that was when I realized that I was actually aging because I feel like when you're in your 20s, you're like, oh yeah, I'm never going to be like that old, you know? And even early 30s and then 35 came around and I was like, okay, I'm in my mid 30s. And then the years after that, 36, 37, 38, it was hard. It was kind of a mind fuck. And I also had things going on in my life at that time. Like I was going through separation and then we got back together and then I knew it wasn't going to work. And I was like, am I really going to do this and get divorced? I was 38. I was like, am I really going to start over at 38? And I actually got a question from somebody who was 30 considering divorce and feels like her life is over. And then I got one from somebody who's 37 and considering leaving a long-term relationship and is scared. Like you can start over at any age. And I don't necessarily feel like ending a relationship means that you're starting over. Like I closed that chapter. I still had accomplished so much for myself in that time. And I felt good about where I was. And it's so scary. And I totally get it. But I feel like it's just kind of like opening a new chapter, not to be like super esoteric and like cheesy about it. So I had a really hard time with those years, kind of thinking about my age and like what I was going to do and getting closer to 40. And then all of that just kind of dissipated.
Obviously, like a lot of your business is on social media. So like, you know, you can't necessarily take too much of a break from it. So how would you say you decompress just from social media and the world?
I'm actually pretty good when it comes to social media because for me, social media is work. So it's like not enjoyable for me. And I typically don't scroll that much, although lately I've been scrolling on TikTok because it's so funny. Like my algorithm is so good right now between the Coldplay thing and then like this thing. And I'm like, this is a wonderful time for the internet. Like everybody's coming together and the people in the comments are even funnier than the people posting the videos. Yeah. So I've been on a little bit of a TikTok thing lately, but for the most part, you know, I looked at my average time on social last week, I think, and it was like 2.5 hours out of the day, which is not bad. It depends too if I'm doing like a Q&A or if I have like certain things going on that I'm on longer. But for me, I try to like get in, get out. It doesn't always work that way. You know, I've always had pretty good boundaries, especially at night. And so I try to be done with work by like 6 or 7. My evenings are time with either my friends or with my boyfriend. I'll cook, I'll go out, go to dinner. If I'm staying home, I'll do like a puzzle, very into puzzles. I'll put a podcast on, just like I need to decompress. Like I just cannot stay on my phone or my computer. And I don't have that urge to because again, it's like work. So I'm like, ugh. And then I think about things that I have to do. And then I see a video and I'm like, oh, well, should I be doing that video? Like, it's just, it never stops. So I have pretty good boundaries with that.
Love that.
Thank you guys for listening as always. And I was thinking about doing an episode summarizing some of the best things that I learned in my 30s. Let me know if you're interested in that. You can go to the Well Instagram. We're at well.pod. Also, we're at like 91,000 followers. Let's get to 100,000. I would love if we got to 100,000 for my birthday. I know that's a big ask, but we're so close. We are pretty active over there. So yeah, so let me know if you guys want an episode about that. And I can do that for the next solo. And thanks for being here. Love ya.